But you're gonna do it. I did, and that's why I said character's open. Your character's open.
No, come on, Kandi.
You didn't care about flowers when you text me a couple of days later.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, the Brooke Ashley, and today we are here to discuss The Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 15, Episode 6. And before we start off, yes, I know I'm a bit late. I was having some technical difficulties on Monday, and I said, you know what, I'm not even gonna fight with it. So I just took the rest of the day off, I just relaxed, and I said, we'll try again tomorrow. But one thing about me, I want to give you guys the best quality, so if that means I have to be late, then so be it. But we're here. And at this point, I don't know where to go from here. What we watched is quite disturbing. I had to run the final scene back a few times because my heart really went out to Kandi. And I've told you guys in prior recaps that I've never been the biggest Kandi fan, but in that moment when she was crying and she said, I'm crying right now because I can't choke you out, I felt that. You could tell that Kandi is severely hurt. Because it's one thing for you to shade me or run your mouth, but when you're trying to actively damage my reputation, my character, you're trying to tie in your nephew's death to my restaurants, that's evil. And Marlo, my thing with you is that we didn't hear anything about this nephew until now. If you were so hurt about your nephew's passing and Kandi not reaching out like you claim, why wasn't this brought up last season? You think you're so smart and you're an idiot. We can see right through you. You look pathetic. This is jealousy in its highest form. This is not entertainment. Marlo's a weirdo. And if I were Kandi or Kenya, I would have a restraining order against her. Because we're treading in dangerous territory. Because I'd be afraid that she might try to harm me. That's how deep it is right now. I don't know how many times I can keep saying this, but this needs to be Marlo's final season. And I watched Kandi speak on it. Kandi cleared some things up. She said that when it comes time for this here reunion, she said that she's ready. She's not sparing anybody. She already acknowledged that she has gone a bit too easy on people in the past, but it's not happening right now. I said, well, thank God. But y'all, with all that being said, let's just jump right on into it because you guys already know that we don't have a minute to spare. Now, this episode starts off with Bravo showing the unaired footage when Marlo came to Kandi's house the day after her nephew was killed. So we see her showing up. She's in good spirits. She lets Kandi know that her nephew has passed away. And Kandi showed sympathy. She showed empathy. She gave Marlo a big hug. She brought up the story about how her brother passed away when she was 15, so she understands how Marlo feels. She also states that since she raised quite a few of her younger cousins, she views them as her children, and if something happened to one of them, she'd be just a wreck. Now, I thought that montage vindicated Kandi. Because like I said, it showed that Kandi was a good friend to Marlo all those years, and how Marlo has been nothing but nasty to Kandi. So now, when we jump ahead to present day, we start off the show with Marlo going out to eat with her two managers. I think their names are Tiny and Justin. Now, does anybody notice that we have yet to see Marlo film with a love interest or actual friends? Every single friend of Marlo's is somebody on her payroll. I think that's very telling that she doesn't really have any friends outside of people who get paid by her. But anyhow, Marlo says that she just loves Tiny and Justin. They're her village. They help her out with her nephews, and she's just so grateful to have them. Marlo, I'm sure that you're grateful for any crumb of attention from anybody, seeing how you alienate everybody around you because you're a disturbed and depraved individual. But anyhow, Marlo's friends or her managers, whatever you want to call them, they're trying to ask Marlo about her dating life. They're like, girl, we want to hook you up with somebody. What's your type of man? So Marlo says that she wants a man who can make her smile, but she's nervous. She doesn't want to go out on a date because her nephews take up all her time. I just feel like I really can't view Marlo in a romantic relationship because I don't think that she has the mental capacity to really be vulnerable with anybody. She can't even be vulnerable or real with herself. So to expect her to really let her guard down and be a normal adult in a relationship, I can't see it. Now, Marlo wants to change gears because God forbid you bring up her romantic life. So now she brings up the drama that happened at City Winery between her and Drew. And she's like, you know, I was doing a great job. I was listening and Drew got aggressive with me. And then she's running her mouth and telling Kenya a story that wasn't even true. I'm like, Marlo, we saw the episode. You screamed in Drew's face. You were aggressive. You were towering over Drew. So for you to act like Drew did something to you, you're delusional. So Marlo continues on by saying that Drew pretty much tiptoed around saying the word shooting, and when she said the word incident, Kandi gave her a look that said, shut your mouth. And so she says that she's tired of Kandi not revealing her real life and how all Kandi does is use this show to promote her businesses. Now, let me just stop right here. Marlo, the audacity for you to say that all Kandi does is promote her businesses is laughable because you have yet to give us a true storyline. This fake storyline about you and this life coach, we don't care.
No.
At least with Kandi, we have gotten her real life. On the other hand, with you, it's still shrouded in a mystery about what do you do for a living, your past, who is this billionaire, the whole thing about you slashing that woman's face. The details are still murky. So not too much about Kandi not showing her real life. Also, Marlo, when it comes to you, it's definitely rooted in jealousy because you wish that you had successful businesses. Because no shade, sis, I haven't seen or heard anything about La Archive since last season. I remember in season, 10 or 11, you tried to come out with a wig line. Where is that? Like I said, it sounds like sour grapes and pure jealousy that all your endeavors aren't taking off the way Kandi's have. And now you want to discredit her and make all these jabs about, well, all she's giving is just that. That might be so, sis, but at the end of the day, you cannot deny that Kandi has given us her real life throughout the decade. And we still know very little about you. I'm not going to hold you guys. I was this close to just turning off the TV when Marlo went on to say, I've known Kandi for 10 years and I'm just so disappointed. She should have called my sister and check on my sister and see how she was doing when the whole thing happened. You think that she would have also offered to cater from OLG? I said, oh my gosh, you really feel like Kandi owes you something. All that Kandi has done for you, and it's still not enough. She's cashapped your nephews on their birthdays and graduations. She's invited you and your family to different events, but now she should have catered the whole entire repast, and you would have thought that she would have sent a flower or paid for this. Baby, you are so deep in Kandi's pockets, and it's really baffling to me because you claim that you have all this money, so why are you so worried about Kandi giving you something? I don't understand it. This is pure entitlement, jealousy, and misdirected anger. How are you mad? Kandi didn't even know your nephew like that, but you expect her to offer to cater the entire repast? Because she owns a restaurant? You're not owed that. How dare you? What have you done for Kandi over the years? I'll wait. Did you send Riley a graduation gift when she graduated from high school? Have you ever sent Riley a birthday gift? Did you send something when Ace and Blaze were born? Did you send Kandi and Todd a wedding gift? Inquiring minds would like to know, because I'm trying to understand why you feel like Kandi owes you something. It just bothers you that Kandi has all this money and you are just trying to find a way to get your hands in her pockets. The way Marlo acts when it comes to Kandi, you would think that Kandi was God, because she puts Kandi up on this pedestal. I mean, hearing her a few episodes ago saying, well, you think that Kandi could help me expunge my record so that I could own a gun? Who knew that Kandi had all this power? I didn't know. I did not know that Kandi had influence in the government that she could get somebody's record expunged. Everything always goes back to Kandi and what can she do for me? And Marlo, you are pathetic. You need to seek help. And I was annoyed when your manager / friend said, yeah, I mean, I understand. You think that she would send you some flowers or a card or some food. It's like, girl, shut up. Is anybody else officially over Sanya's storyline? Bravo, I know that you watched me. Hey, please get rid of Sanya for next season. She's not entertaining in the least bit. I could care less about this whole my family has to leave the house. I'm over it. And Sanya is such a flip-flopper because one minute is, oh yeah, you guys have to go. Then the next minute is, you know what? You're right. Let me talk to Ross about it. Like, which one is it, Sanya? Do you want your family out or what? Because it seems like you were second-guessing yourself and now you don't want them to go. Now, a lot of you guys pointed out that you believe that Sanya's not being truthful about this whole living arrangement and how her family probably feels blindsided because she probably promised them off camera that they could stay with her indefinitely. And now that the cameras are on, now she wants to spin it like she wants them out and that they're ungrateful. When it comes to Sanya, I see a lot of thirst and desperation, so I wouldn't be surprised. But Sanya, if that's the case, I just want to let you know that this storyline and the whole wanting to have a second child storyline, that's not going to cut it. We're bored. Now we jump to the next scene and we see Kenya with her friend Akilah. And like I've been saying, I think that Akilah would be the perfect addition. I like her vibe. She reminds me of Tanya. I thought that Tanya would have made a great full-time cast member, but I think that Akilah is the perfect addition. I want to see her promoted next season. I think that she's pretty. She has a rich husband. He's an NFL player. She seems level-headed, down to earth, not trying too hard. The complete opposite of Courtney. But anyhow, we see Kenya and Akilah at the construction site for Kenya's hair salon. She's going to be opening up the Kenya Moore Hair Care Grand Salon. I said, I know that's right. And that definitely is the perfect venture for her. But the salon looks like it's going to be big and beautiful. She wants to have a bar. She's going to have valet parking. There's going to be these gorgeous light fixtures. It's going to be a complete 5-star experience. Again, I really do think that Kenya's salon is going to be a big success. I'm here for it. And I don't know if it's just me, but I was wondering if they would plan on giving Kenya like a spin-off show where she's renovating the salon, because I'm sure it's going to take a while. But I could see maybe a cute little 4 to 6 episode spin-off with her getting her salon ready, and I could see it premiering sometime after this season is over. Now, Bravo, if you do take that idea, I need you and Kenya to give me 10%. So they sit down to talk, and Akilah's like, girl, I'm so proud of you, but I do have to ask, how are you going to balance renovating this salon and dating? So Kenya says, I know I do have a lot going on. She goes on to say that she's been a wife for 5 years, so she's kind of out of touch when it comes to dating. Now, Kenya, this is no shade. You might be a wife for 5 years on paper, but in all actuality, you were really only a wife for like 2 years because you and Mark separated a while back. You guys separated like what, 3 years ago is when you filed for divorce? Season 12, that's when it ended. So Kenya says that her new man, Roy, while she likes him a lot and he treats her well, he's always away because remember that he owns Kale Me Crazy. So she goes on to add that it was the same way with Mark. He was always away as well. Remember that they were doing that long distance marriage. Mark was in New York, she was in Atlanta, and he would come and see her like on the weekends, and that was a hot mess because he didn't even want to spend time with her when he was there. He was only focused on Brooklyn. It seems like things are still going strong between Kenya and Roy though, because I saw that Kandi went to Turks and Caicos for her birthday, and Shamia and Kenya were there, and I think Manietta was there as well. And we saw at one of the parties, Roy was there with Kenya. So I say, yeah, they're still going strong. So I'm guessing that Roy has found some time. Now, Manietta, the way that you're setting everybody else up, please, girl, hit my line. So now Kenya brings up the drama in the friend group. She's like, girl, when we went to Birmingham last weekend, The mess with Marlo was insane. That girl is nuts. She came banging on my door like a psycho. She woke my daughter up out her sleep. Brooklyn was screaming and crying like, "Mommy, what's going on?" Like, that girl really is insane. So she goes on to add that Marlo slashed that woman's face 20 years ago. Akilah was like, "Sis, who are you hanging around? Like, don't let me find out you're hanging out with all these crazies." But Kenya says that Marlo is always coming for her and she's tired. Now, Kenya, like I've said, Marlo is jealous. That's why she keeps coming for you. She wants your attention. And when you don't give your attention to somebody like her, they get more and more irate. I think that in a case like this, the only thing that you can do is to really make it clear that you will not be speaking to her, you will not be acknowledging her, and to let production know that I will not be filming any scenes with her going forward. Because I truly believe that things will get dangerous real fast if they allow Marlo and Kenya to film together. Envy, jealousy, those are dangerous emotions. And when you really have hate in your heart for somebody and you feel that they don't deserve what they have or you want what they have, it can go left immediately. There are too many stories about how somebody's jealousy led to an obsession, which led to them taking that person out. I don't think that anybody should be hanging around people who they know are jealous of them. So in this case, Kenya, going forward, I would have absolutely nothing to do with Marlo. And I don't care how that affects everybody else when it comes to filming. Because at the end of the day, your safety and your peace of mind is most important. I think that this might be the first time that I ever say something nice about Shereé. I know, mark it on your calendars, because on this day, I am actually paying Shereé Whitfield a compliment. Never thought I would see the day, but here we are. But this next scene with Shereé at home, I actually enjoyed seeing a different side of Shereé. Shereé also reminds me of Giselle Bryant from Potomac, where they are two women who are not in touch with their emotions, and they're very hardened women. And it's always nice to see when they can let their guard down and actually be a human being. Seeing Shereé being so loving with her granddaughter, that was sweet. I said, Shereé, if you could give us more of this, you would actually be tolerable. And her granddaughter Mecca is so cute. I was getting all the feels when she was sleeping, her little chubby cheeks. I was like, oh my gosh, she's too cute. But anyhow, Shereé says that when her son Cairo came to her and told her the news that he had a child on the way, Shereé was shocked because Cairo's girlfriend was already 4 months pregnant. So she felt like she didn't have enough time to prepare to be a grandmother. So Shereé says that despite Cairo not having a positive role model in fatherhood, because remember that Bob Whitfield was a deadbeat, she says that she's so proud to see that her son is a great father. He's attentive. He takes care of the baby. He changes the baby. He wakes up when the baby's crying to take care of her. And so Shereé starts crying and she's like, I'm just so happy. I really did raise a good son. Again, I enjoyed watching Shereé with her family, to see her being soft, not all this BS that she brings us any other time. It was great to see a different side of her. Now we jump to Kandi at home with Todd. Of course, they're talking about Todd's movie. Todd feels like Kandi never has enough time for him. So now, while they're talking, Kenya FaceTimes Kandi, and Kenya's like, girl, are you going to Courtney's escape room event tonight? We all know that Kandi does not care too much for Courtney, especially with what happened in the first episode. So she's like, I mean, I don't really want to go, but I guess I'll be there. So Kenya says, well, speaking of group settings and all of us being together, the other day I invited Drew and Shereé out so that they could hash out their issues. So Kenya goes on to add that Marlo's been running her mouth, telling anybody who will listen that she's angry at Kandi because Kandi didn't send flowers or didn't send food when her nephew passed. So I loved how Kandi clocked it immediately. She said, now wait a second. This happened, what, 2 years ago? She made no mention of any of that. She's been laughing with me, having a kiki these past 2 years, but now she wants to bring this up to bring me down. It's clear that she's using this to tear my business down. And that's exactly what this is. Marlo, you think that you're so intelligent and you're really not. There is no way that you could try to shame me about a death that occurred 2.5 years ago when I've seen you multiple times after and you've laughed with me, we've went out to dinner, we've been on vacation together, and now you want to bring this up? You're out of your mind, Marlo, and you know it. You don't have a leg to stand on. And Kandi was so pissed, and even Todd was like, what? Like, what is she talking about? And Kandi said, what is Marlo on right now? This is some absolute BS, and it is BS. And I loved when Kenya said, you know what, girl, whatever happens tonight, just know that I have your back. I'm here for you. So now it's the night of the escape room event. And I have to say, Courtney is just so thirsty. Like, she irks me so bad. I was rolling my eyes so hard every time she stepped in front of that camera. Like, please get out of here. So now we see Drew arrive, and now Marlo arrives. I was here for Drew paying Marlo dust because there is no way that you get to scream in my face, not apologize for it, and then think that you're going to roll up and say hi to me and act like we're good. Absolutely not. And Courtney, you acting like you're so oblivious when you said, oh, Drew, what was that face for when she didn't speak to Marlo? I'm like, Courtney, you heard the news about what Marlo did to Drew, so why would you even ask Drew why she's mad at Marlo? Let's use our brains here. And Courtney, you're playing for the wrong team. You want to team up with Shereé and Marlo? Are you serious? So now we see Shereé, Manyata, and Kenya arrive, and everybody for the most part is in great spirits. But let me tell you something, when Kandi stepped in, the shift, I felt that through the TV. Kandi came in, she was not hiding anything. Her facial expression said it all, that she was pissed. And I'm the same way too. I don't have a poker face. If I'm mad at you, you're going to know it. If I have an issue, I'm going to pull you to the side and let you know where you had me effed up at. Immediately. So before Courtney can even explain the rules of what they're about to do, Kandi says, hey Marlo, I heard you had some things to say regarding me and your nephew's passing. Can we talk, just you and I? So Marlo says, sure, let's have me, you, and Drew go off to the side and talk about this. So they go over to the side, and you already know when it comes to Marlo, it's always going to go left because Marlo refuses to take ownership for anything that she says or does. So Kandi starts off the conversation and she says, I heard that you had an issue with me because I didn't send flowers when your cousin passed away. Is that the case? So here's where Marlo starts rambling. And I said, Marlo, you did not make a lick of sense. So Marlo says, well, first of all, it was my nephew who passed away. And I was telling Drew at City Winery that everybody's so direct when it comes to me and my past and the things that I've done. When it comes to you, they tiptoe around you. And I was upset because my nephew is dead. Once again, how does that correlate to Kandi? Please enlighten me because I would like to know. Marlo is trying to get sympathy and she's going real low to bring up her nephew's passing from 2 years ago. Again, this is clear that Marlo is grasping at straws. So Marlo continues on by saying that she feels a way because she was at Kandi's house helping Riley pack up for college. And when she told Kandi the news about her nephew, Kandi brushed it off and it was clear that she didn't want to talk about it. Now, Marlo, we saw the footage earlier on in this episode. We saw that when you told Kandi the news, Kandi got up out of her chair and she went over to hug you. So for you to say that she didn't want to deal with it and she brushed you off, that's a bold-faced lie. And I loved how Kandi checked you and she said, excuse me? First of all, you're trying to attach your nephew's passing to me and that's not right. Second of all, I already told you that when your nephew passed away, he was no longer working for us anyway. So again, what are you saying? I was so enraged because the way Marlo was trying to gaslight Kandi, she's trying to talk over Kandi, And Kandi was like, no, this is BS. You're trying to attach your nephew's passing to my restaurant, and that's not cool. It's anything to tear me down. So at this point, Kandi's screaming, and one thing about me, if you lie on me, I already have a naturally loud voice, but if you lie on me and we're in a heated exchange, I will probably start yelling 9 times out of 10. No, actually 10 times out of 10, I will start yelling. And I felt Kandi on that one. Like, I wouldn't be able to hide it. I would not be able to talk in a calm voice. I would have let Marlo have it. And when Monyetta walked over to calm Kandi down and Kandi said, Monyetta, back up. And I was screaming. I said, listen, I couldn't even be mad at Kandi because I get it. She was trying to say, girl, I love you, but I don't want to accidentally hit you. I don't want you to get caught in the crossfire. Just back up. Give me like 10 feet. Now, when Kandi kept repeating that her nephew no longer worked at Blaze, and Marlo said, but what does that say about your character? And I was at the point where I said, now, Monique Samuels, where are you when we need you? You're out here using your powers for bad. Baby, you need to be out here using your powers and your fists for good and taking care of people like Marlo Hampton. Guys, I was just at a loss for words. I was screaming at my TV because I was in shock at what I was hearing and what I was seeing. When Marlo said again, what does that say about your character? My nephew had pictures of you guys at your Christmas parties. What does that have to do with the price of tea in China? So he had a few pictures of him with Kandi and Todd at the Christmas parties. Why are you still trying to attach Kandi and Todd to what happened to your nephew? His roommate is the one who unalived him. But Marlo, at this point, I said, you need some real help. Marlo, you need to go and see the lady. You are sick. Mama, you are deranged. You are disturbed. At this point, I didn't blame Kandi one bit when she lost it, when she started screaming even louder and she wanted to fight Marlo, and she was holding back those tears. I really felt her pain. And when Kenya came over to say, girl, it's not even worth it. Like, don't give her that satisfaction.
I'm telling you right now, let me tell you something. If she pop off, do not grab me. Do not grab me. I'm telling you, don't.
And we all know that if Kandi laid one hand on Marlo, Marlo would sue because she is so obsessed with Kandi's money. I said, yeah, girl, don't even do it. Marlo's not worth it. Shereé and Sanya looked so pitiful. I said, 2 pathetic losers. You have Sanya going up for Marlo saying, I don't understand why Marlo's getting a bad rap. I don't understand why they're trying to act like Marlo's the one in the wrong. I'm like, you really want to align yourself with Marlo Hampton.
She's being aggressive. She needs to go. She just needs to go. Take her outside. I don't understand why Marlo is getting this rap like she was the only one aggressive.
Marlo is as wrong as 2 left shoes, and y'all gonna sit up here and turn a blind eye to what she's doing because you don't like Kandi and Kenya? That's some real sick stuff. It reminded me so much of when they all turned a blind eye to Wendy being assaulted on this last season of Potomac. I don't care how you feel about Kandi, Kenya, or Drew. You guys know that Marlo is dead ass wrong to even try and put Kandi's name with her nephew who passed away 2.5 years ago. And I know that Marlo is 6 feet tall and she's violent herself, but the rage that Kandi had, I'm willing to bet that Kandi would have worn Marlo out. Because when she told Kenya, back up, don't hold me back, like let me at her, I really believe that with all that adrenaline in her, all that anger, she probably would have torn her up. I believe it. Don't get it twisted. Just because somebody is bigger than you doesn't always mean that they're stronger than you. And when Marlo kept taunting her, I was like, again, Marlo's so evil, and she really brings down this show. So when Kandi, Kenya, Monyetta, and Drew walked outside, you see Marlo talking to Sanya, Courtney, and Shereé, and she's like, you know what, I'm just so tired of it. They always want to bring up my stuff, and Kandi needs to be held accountable. And of course, you have the 3 stooges agreeing with her. I was like, the 4 of you guys are idiots, and the fact that you want to sit up here and defend evil behavior, go ahead. Sanya, I think that you are the biggest loser. And when Marlo and Shereé turn on you and you want to cry about it, I have no sympathy. And Shereé really pissed me off when she said, you know, it's just so unfair because every time Marlo says something, she can't get a word out before somebody's bringing up her past, what she did 23 years ago. I said, Shereé, be quiet. If I recall, you were calling Marlo all sorts of felons when you guys first met. You couldn't stand Marlo. You were mad at her when she clocked your tea that you were broke and returning things to Saks and Neiman Marcus and writing those bad checks. Y'all were sworn enemies. Now all of a sudden, you're her biggest advocate. You know that that lady is wrong. But again, you hate and you're jealous of Kandi and Kenya and you don't like Drew. So of course, anything to be against them. And until Marlo tells the truth about what really happened when she slashed that woman's face, we're going to talk about it again and again and again.
And you're going to always get it again and again and again.
And also, Marlo, now you want to play victim? If I recall, Kandi never brought up the fact that you slashed that woman's face. She would always say, guys, that's not nice. You know, that was in the past. But now you push her to that level where she does bring it up. What you're really mad about is that you don't have the appeal or the likability, and Kandi does. And that's what really eats you up. You feel that people should like you because you have a bunch of designer clothes. And because people don't really care, because again, this whole cast is dripped in designer, so it doesn't really matter. And for everybody else, where's the personality? Where's the depth? I mean, yeah, we do come to see the fashions and the glamour and the luxury, but there has to be other things on top of just that. And you're very one-dimensional. You don't bring anything else but clothes. When we jump back to the parking lot, Kandi says, child, let me leave before she makes me act stupid. So she's reading the text messages from 2020, and she says, here it is, August 13th, 2020. She texted me about her nephew's passing. Then 5 days later, she's sending me links for me to join Cameo, and she'd make money off of me joining through her. So is that somebody who's super distraught about their nephew passing away? And exactly, my point stands. And when Drew said, I see why Kenya was trying to warn me about Marlo, because Marlo is aggressive and she turns at the drop of a dime. Now, Sanya being upset that Drew was calling Marlo aggressive and she said, well, we're not doing that. That's just really not right. And then her calling Drew a lapdog for Kenya and Kandi. Well, sweetheart, you're Shereé and Marlo's lapdog. Sanya can't get right. You're just a desperate flip-flopper who wants to be on this show by any means. And sis, you just don't have what it takes. You're not interesting in the slightest. I was happy to see that Kandi, Kenya, Monyetta, and Drew left. And left the rest of them there to go play. I said, good. Because I wouldn't have stayed either. I would have left too. And Marlo trying to kid herself saying, all I'm asking is that they leave my past alone and I'm not aggressive. And I said again, Marlo is delusional. Peak delusions to say that she's not aggressive. And Marlo, the fact that you always bring up somebody else's past and you hit below the belt, why is it okay for you to do it, but when somebody else does it, now it's a problem? If I recall, you're always bringing up Kenya and Kandi's past, talking about how they were whores and hoes of the 90s and early 2000s. You're always trying to slut shame somebody, what they did back in the day. But now when they bring up how you slashed somebody's face up and the woman ended up ending her life because of it, oh, that's off limits. Got it. Marlo is despicable. I have no other words for her at this point. I think that she needs to be gone. And this is not entertaining. And everybody going up for her saying, well, Marlo's doing what she should be doing and that's bringing life to this show. No. What Marlo is doing is evil. And if you can't see that, then I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, this is not entertaining. It's not fun to watch. It's just dark, toxic, and it's weird. But y'all, that was the episode. Those are my thoughts. As you guys can see, this episode wore me thin. I need a glass of champagne after this. But guys, thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and you already know what to do. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all later. Bye.